Hey everybody, it's Brett, and welcome or welcome back. Welcome to this evening edition, this evening edition of my vlog. Because you know what? It is Friday night here in Los Angeles, and you know what we do on Friday nights here in Los Angeles? We talk about books. Yes, we do. It is a rockin' out night. We talk about books. First of all, I want to say thank you to Random House for my Stag swag to celebrate the launch of Stag Dance by Torey, which came out this past week, which I can't wait to read. I've not read it yet, but it is like on my list to try to get through for this month. But get it if you can. I love my little camo hat, so I appreciate it. All right. Hope you all have had a great week. So I'm coming at you today, this evening, this rockin' Friday night, to talk about what book mail. Book mail. I had a huge stack, and I'm starting to, if you'll notice behind me, how slowly my bookcases are starting to get empty. And I used to have a really big bookcase over there with literally hundreds of books all over the floor, and all of that's gone. It's all been transferred. Everything is getting moved out. And what hasn't been moved, I'm getting rid of a lot of books. I've talked about that as well. So I'm going to link my Pango account below because I'm putting up books on Pango all the time. Some new stuff I'm getting, but also as I'm pulling through books that I'm never going to get to, I'm doing that painful thing that we have to do every now and then in our life, which is called a purge. I'm purging. I have to do it because I can't take all these things with me, and it's just too much. So I'm going to be putting books up. So check in on that every now and then. For those of you who don't know what Pango is, Pango Books is a great website where you can sell your books and buy other people's books. It's really cool. The company gets a small percentage. You can dictate how much your books are going to sell for. You can dictate if you're going to add a discount, if you're going to offer things like free shipping. It's also a cool way to just get rid of a lot of books. And when a book sells, you just print their label, attach it to the box or whatever you have to send it off in. I've bought so many books from Pango, and I have sold so many books from Pango. So it's a great alternative if you don't want to be spending all that money on a brand new book, because most of the books that I've gotten have been in incredible shape because they're coming from other book lovers. So there you go. This is not a paid advertisement, just me. So let's go through this book mail. So I have 13 titles to discuss with you. Are we getting a shadow in the back, or is that kind of me? I don't know. This whole thing is a little weird. Not used to doing the night thing. So my first two books I'm going to talk about are from the Women's Prize long list. I was going to come on here and do a video about the Women's Prize and then talk also about the Aspen Awards shortlist. And then I kind of scrapped the whole thing because there are people that do those things better than me to kind of break it all down. I will say this, out of the Aspen Awards shortlist, I have read all but one of the books. It's actually one of my favorite prizes of all the literary prizes, but this is the first year I didn't get through the whole long list. I read Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. I read There is a Rio Grande in Heaven by Ruben Reyes Jr. I read The Safe Keep by Yael Vandervouden. I, of course, read James by Percival Everett. Before the Mango Ripens by Afwaja Kirian. This is the only one I've not read, and I'm absolutely going to read it before the winner is announced. So that is my thing with that. Okay, so regarding the Women's Prize, I was really excited because, again, this is another list that I really love. What I am very disappointed of, and I didn't know this when I even talked about this book a few weeks ago as things were coming out, which is Dreamcap by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is the one book I'm not going to read. And I'm not going to read it because of her very outspoken comments about trans women. And I'm just very much opposed to them and what she has said. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm a little disappointed that the judges didn't think about this before she was announced, because I think it sours this a little bit for me this year. So anyway, there are other people I'm absolutely going to read on this list. There are some that I have already read, but this in particular is one author I will not be reading. So regarding the Women's Prize, there are some that I have already read. There are many more I'm going to try to get through. One of which was I really can't wait, and I hear this is fantastic on audio, is Fundamentally by Nussaibah Younis. This is about a woman who goes to that goes to Iraq working to de-radicalize women who were under ISIS's control, and she ends up falling in love with one of them. It's supposed to be hilarious, and again, like I said, supposed to be wonderful in audio. Nice blurbs from Dolly Adderton, Ruby Thorpe, Marion Keyes, Catherine Newman, a lot of authors I love. So I'm excited about that one. The other one is this one, Nesting, by Roisin O'Donnell, which I actually love the UK cover. And this is pretty good too, but I love the UK cover. So it's just from an unforgettable new voice in Irish fiction. Love the Irish. A heart-pounding, life-affirming story about one woman's courageous escape. I believe this is about domestic abuse, but I can't wait to dive into that one. So those are the first two that I'm taking on of the Women's Prize beyond what I've already read. This book, I was in Barnes & Noble a few weeks ago, and I picked this up just on a lark, and I almost was going to get this as a gift for my mother-in-law, and then I opened it up and I bought it for myself instead. All right, it's The Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan, which is also which is also illustrated by Amy Tan, which is also written by Amy Tan, and it's strange because she calls herself a writer. What I didn't know is, first of all, when you say illustrated, to me, I draw stick figures with maybe some shading. Okay, Amy Tan is giving you details. She's giving you color. They're just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pictures inside this thing, just for starters, okay? So what I didn't know was what this is really about, which is in 2016, when Amy Tan was kind of overwhelmed by everything that was happening in the world, in our country, really needed to just kind of get out of it and decompress. And so she really kind of took to the natural world and watching these birds in her backyard and drawing and commenting about them and following them. And hence this was born. I got really excited about this. This next phase in my own personal life, I'm going to be going up north to the Pacific Northwest. And I'm so excited to reconvene with nature and start living out this kind of northern exposure existence. And for those of you who don't know what northern exposure is, you are too young. For the rest of you, I see you. I see you. So anyway, that's this book, and I'm really excited to break in. All right, then I bought 300,000 Kisses, Tears of Queer Love from the Ancient World by Seán Hewitt and Luke Edward Hall. So Seán Hewitt has this book, which I've talked about before, which is coming out in April, his debut fiction novel called Open Heaven. He also has a nonfiction book, which I also read last month, called All Down Darkness Wide. He's so extraordinary. And so when I knew that he had done this book as well, which are basically taking these ancient myths that had queer themes to them, and then Luke Edward Hall is an illustrator who just recently did Faber in the US is reissuing the E.M. Forster books that are illustrated, and Luke Edward Hall is did the illustrations. And I was like, wow. So when I saw they had worked together on this book, I was like, oh, I am all about it. So that's what this is. But it's really, really, really stunning. And if there's anyone in your life who is into classics or Greek literature, it's just a beautiful gift book too. All right, then I got Glassworks by Olivia Wolfgang-Smith. This is the earlier book. Olivia Wolfgang-Smith wrote the book Mutual Interest that came out this year, and she was on my podcast and on Behind the Stack, and I loved her. And when I looked up this story, kind of a multi-generational family story, I really thought, okay, I have to get it. So, and I also just thought this was such a beautiful cover. So that's what this one is. Little backlist. Then I got Memorial Days by Geraldine Brooks, which is a small novel, but in the vein of Joan Didion's story about losing her husband, this is similar. And this is Geraldine Brooks talking about the loss of her husband and how she got through it. So I'm going to probably do this one on audio, I think. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Then, have you guys seen this? Sonya Walger's Lion. This is kind of auto fiction about her relationship with her father, who is kind of this larger than life figure. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if you know who Sonya Walger is. For those of you who don't know who she is, first and foremost, I've always known her as an actress. And she was on the series Lost. She was Penny on Lost, for those of you who watch that. And if you've never heard of Lost, again, you probably have no business being here. Go away. You're just too young. So she was Penny in Lost. She's a really fine actress, just beautiful, and then also apparently an accomplished writer. So a friend of mine over on Instagram read this and has flipped out over it. And so I thought, yeah, I've got to read it. I'm just so curious. So that's Lion. Next is Dusk by Robbie Arnott. Arnott? We're going to go with that. I got this little gem on eBay because Simon over at Savage Reads was going on about how incredible it was. So of course I immediately, because the fun thing about following people who are over the pond, and I wonder if they feel this way about us sometimes too, is you sometimes get things sooner than the other side. I also love to compare book covers all the time. I could do a whole episode just with someone comparing book covers. So anyway, this was something that Simon said is so fantastic, and it's not coming out in the US till later this year. So I thought, I'm just going to take the leap and go ahead and get it. It says, in the distant highlands, a puma named Dusk is killing shepherds. Down in the lowlands, twins Iris and Floyd are out of work, money, and friends. When they hear that a bounty has been placed on Dusk, they reluctantly decide to join the hunt. As they journey up into the wild, haunted country, they discover there's far more to the land and people of the highlands than they imagined. And as they close in on their prey, they're forced to reckon with conflicts, both ancient and deeply personal. So anyway, I think it sounds really good. I love this cover. The American cover is great too. And I think the British is as well. But anyway, so I'm excited to break into Dusk. Thank you, Simon. All right. Again, I just read Karen Russell's The Antidote, and it's one of my favorite books of the year, which I've already gone on and waxed about how great I thought it was. So me going against my rule of short stories, immediately went to Pango and got Vampires in the Lemon Grove, which is her collection of short stories. Really excited to dive into this. Okay, this is a prime example, guys. Pango, right? Such good, like totally, great condition. All right. Then another Barnes & Noble find because it was on sale. I really wanted to read this. I really had no interest to read this until the end of the year. And New York Times said this is one of the best nonfiction books of the year. Tracy at the Stacks pod said, again, just an incredible, incredible book. And it's supposed to be like a thrilling, it's supposed to read like a thriller, which, it's a weird thing because I showed this to my husband. I was like, you might like to read this. And he said, yeah, but you know what? I know the end and it's not happy. And he's not wrong, but I'm interested. So I don't know. Tell me, have any of you read this? Let me know. Then Bones Beneath My Skin, TJ Klune. I just love TJ Klune so much. Auto by author for me. Love this particular edition that I got from Waterstones. I just think this is kind of like the pick-me-up books, which we need a lot of them right now. So I'll take it. I'm really excited to dive in, but Autobuy will always have everything that he writes. Even the stuff that I don't think is as great, I still like. So there you go. And then I got this, I don't know where I saw this first, and I'm going to probably butcher this name, but Christos Tsiolkas, The In-Between. Okay, I don't know. And if one of you talked about this on your page, let me know below and say, hey, idiot, it was me. And I will give you credit for it. But I don't know. I don't remember. But all I know is it sounded really interesting. It's two middle-aged men meet on an internet date. Each has been scarred by a previous relationship. Each has his own compelling reasons for giving up on the idea of finding love. But still, they both turn up for the dinner, feel the spark and the possibility of something more. How can they take the risk of falling in love again? How can they not? a tender, affecting novel of love and of hope, of forgiveness by one of today's most fearless and truthful interpreters of the human heart, the acclaimed bestselling author of The Slap and Damascus. So, and I haven't heard of either one of those, but this guy has a load of books, and I'm sure one of you will educate me and tell me everything that you've read by him, and I will appreciate that. So that's that. The final thing I got is the Constitution of the United States of America, which was one of the top selling things when I got it at the time, because I felt like, you know what? The way everything is going right now, this might not be a bad thing to have on your shelf, even if it just becomes a memory of a different time. Let's hope not. So that's it, guys. That is my Friday night book mail spectacular. I hope you've enjoyed hanging with me this evening. I know it's been great seeing all of you. Thanks for being here. And yeah, hey, like and subscribe if you're liking what you see here. I appreciate all the comments for those of you who are watching the author interviews. I really get so much joy out of doing them. I can't even tell you. It really it's so much fun, and I just love these authors so much. So yeah, that's it. All right. I hope you're all having a good night, having a good day wherever you are, and I will see you all soon.